fastball. I'm just going to lob it in there. So I'm keeping the expectations very low.
Well, I think you're going to bring in the high heat. So today, today's show, we're going to have so many guests, lots of stories. We'll be celebrating Charlie as he goes into his next adventure of retirement, which I know will be full of even more stories. You'll have to jump back on and join us over the next few months to give us an update. But we want to welcome in our first guest of the 9 o'clock hour, and that is Mr. Jeff Gilbert. He is the WWJ automotive correspondent who had the honor of turning down one of your job applications, Charlie.
You know, it's true. I think in 1984, 1985, Jeff, you were not at WJR or WWJ. You were, is it possible you were at a country station? Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and I actually applied for work with you. You must have been the news director at one point. Yeah. Oh, no, thank you. You did me a favor, but congratulations on your longevity. Oh, my goodness. This is Jeff Gilbert, who everybody knows on KMOX is the expert on automobiles, and we rely on your advice. But I'm guessing now that you've got about 40 years in the business.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Well, if they had Major League Baseball in Detroit, maybe you could do that.
Oh.
No, that's true. You know, it's funny because Tom Brady is, of course, going to be on Fox Sports, and Jason Gain, today's Wall Street Journal, says now Tom Brady can go on Thanksgiving and talk about how the Lions have a chance in the game. So anyway, thank you so much, Jeff. Yeah, exactly. No, you know what? One door closes, another door opens, and I actually still have my application to you, Jeff. One of these days I'll throw it out. My wife is telling me to get rid of all that stuff, and I will. But maybe I'll mail you a copy just so you can reconsider that rejection. Hey, I've got some that were downright nasty, and in fact, a few that were actually said, "Dear Jerry." Oh, yeah. Hopefully, I got your name right. You did, and I'll say this: today, prospective employers often don't send any notice back, but I noticed in my file of rejection letters and correspondence from employers who didn't hire me, Jeff, some people said they send a letter typewritten, "We are in receipt of your letter. We'll get back to you next month." And then the next month they would send the rejection letter. I mean, they'd send 2, and now they send 0. They ghost you. Jeff Gilbert, thank you so much. Congratulations on your tenure, and really appreciate you being part of this celebration today. And I just want to add another one of those cliches. Best wishes in your future endeavors. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And thanks for all your contributions to KMOX through the years and in the future.
Charlie, you need to keep those rejection letters at least until you write your autobiography. There's got to be an autobiographical book coming out.
I might do it just for the kids and their kids. And that's about it. You know, I don't think many people have an interest in some of these stories. But good morning anyway, everybody. Just for family record, I'm thinking about doing that.
I think you absolutely should. Well, now we're excited to welcome in Russ Mitchell.
Oh, my God.
He is the anchor and executive editor at WKYC TV in Cleveland, Ohio, national and local Emmy winner. Good morning, Russ.
Oh my goodness. The pride of Webster Groves, Missouri, one of the great broadcasters of our day with legendary interviews for CBS and now at the legendary WKYC. This is where Al Roker worked when I was a kid. You know, that's a long time ago. And this is a fantastic television station on the shores of Lake Erie in northeastern Ohio. And it's so nice of you to call today, Russ. Oh, well,
excellent.
Don't feel bad. I mean, they rejected Phil Donahue. He told us they rejected Rush Limbaugh. They told George Norrie he had no future in radio before he became a syndicated billionaire. So you're in good company. And you know, you want to know a funny story? John Tesh applied to KMOV and he was rejected because they didn't like his Southern twang.
Oh.
And he grew up on Long Island. Hey, there's a big connection between St. Louis and WKYC because Neil Fisher, who is the son and real able reporter anchor, the son of Katie Fisher of Bank of America, he just started up there at WKYC. And so... yeah, we wish him the best as he starts his career up there. He's a great kid.
He's fantastic. He's coming here. You know, this guns blazing. This is a terrific job making St. Louis proud.
Hey, I've seen some of your work. You have interviewed some top people out there, including Eric Carmen from the Raspberries. Amy might be a little too young to remember him, but he had so many great hits. Is he still living?
He is. He's still living. I don't think he lives here anymore. I think he's in Los Angeles. But fascinating guy. We're doing an interview at his house. He was telling us how the music industry has changed over the years and how much money he probably made from the song All By Myself. But record with Spotify and those things, how the financials of that has changed a lot. He was very candid with us. As you know, as both of you know, Charlie and Amy, interviewing these folks can be very fascinating.
No doubt about that. We are so lucky to be in this profession, the people we meet and more. And Russ, are you getting back to St. Louis, your roots, anytime soon?
I hope to. I hope to get back sometime this summer and say hello to people. But Charlie, listen, you know, I'm really happy for you. Congratulations. Just an incredible career. You know, I know St. Louis is going to miss you. I've enjoyed speaking with you many times over the years. Hopefully we can continue to do that. Maybe not on the radio. Enjoyed you on Donnie Brook all this year. So I really just feeling really good for you. It's fantastic.
Well, Russ Mitchell, one of the all-time greats, coming from you, that's really high praise. Really appreciate your contribution today on the Voice of St. Louis. And, you know, we got to get that movement going to get Russ on the St. Louis Hall of Fame and the Walk of Fame up there. That's a huge error on the part of the powers that be.
I don't know about that. A friend of mine who works for Cardinals did post something on Facebook recently saying they're looking for summer employees. I did offer to play third base, but I never heard back.
Oh.
Well, we're going to put a good word in for you because we're going to be at the game today as the Cardinals take on the Orioles at Busch.
See, it's not like the good old days. You would think the Cardinals would at least send a rejection letter and say, no, thank you. We don't need you at third base.
You know, there's a local author by the name of Jeff Drew. He's written Living Up to Your Eulogy. Just gave a copy to Mary T. Dolan. And he was actually at a tryout at Busch Stadium to play baseball, of course. And Bing Devine went up to him and said, stay in school. So Jeff tells the story better than I do. Russ Mitchell, one of the all-time greats now at WKYC television in my native Cleveland, Ohio. Meant a lot that you called. Thank you so much. This is my theme starting Monday. Or maybe Amy's. So we have a lot of calls today to the wine line, as you can imagine. And as the good book said, many are called, but few are chosen. So a lot of them did not get on the air, but I think we're going to cut the wine line in half and have two different ones.
Okay.
And stay tuned. We don't know when that's going to be. Sometime between now and 11 o'clock. And then today at 10:35, we actually have a mystery guest.
That's very exciting. Chris Myhill and I know who this mystery guest is, and it is really It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, Major Garrett's up next. Do I have time to ask Charlie a question here?
No,
Okay, we're going to have Major Garrett next. All right.
Major's on the line.
Oh, Chief Washington correspondent CBS News is next. First, I want to tell you about Banner Construction. The chief construction man for St. Louis is Bill Kaufman at Banner Construction, and he has a fantastic team. His lieutenant, Bill Hinman, is helping the Brennans refurbish our outside deck. Of course, it's an outside deck. Who has an inside deck? Well, not one, not two, but 3 limbs fell on it in recent years. And so we had to call 314-569-1050. We went with the best. This turns out to be the 6th time on 2 different homes that we've relied on Banner Construction to fix something on our house. And if you have a home you're really proud of, or if you want to make it the neighborhood showcase, call Banner or log on to their website at bannerconstruction.com. And there you'll see a video showing all the great work that Banner can do. They are a major contractor when it comes to Pella windows, which look great. They come with a 30-year warranty. They're very energy efficient. That should save you some money on your electric and gas bill. And our friends at Banner are considered experts. They are certified Pella contractors. And they're also expert at the James Hardy fiber cement siding, which has the rich look and feel of wood. It's preferred by most luxury home builders. Banner can install that as well. They have a team of craftsmen with more than a quarter century of experience. That's why we use them. 314-569-1050 and bannerconstruction.com.
For everything online, it's
We're here to fix your thing.
Oh.
the Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts and Odyssey. That's AUDACY. Very few things
Hey,
are
Charlie, do you want to jump to this mic while they work over there?
Come
This is a short break. We'll come back in less than a minute.
Sure. It's easily fixable.
And Major's on the
I
line.
get it. All you have to do is point.
All you have to do is point.
Junk from a party or celebration or holiday.
Major's
All right.
Make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Good morning, Charlie. This is Michael Steinberg of the Steinberg Family Foundation.
You know,
Charlie Brennan
there's a
has
Joe
advocated
Edwards
for
tribute
my
in
family
audio list. I don't think anyone's played it.
so often. You think
I think I've heard it.
Oh,
I've heard
okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I should listen to this one.
Thanks for listening. You want me to bring this in and then toss it to Major?
Pardon?
You want me to bring this in and toss it?
Should I say a quick word about Michael?
Oh, yeah, whatever you think.
Right here, and
Yeah.
then I'll hit a rejoin.
Oh. Wow, that is nice. I will say a quick story about Michael Steinberg.
Mhm.
Several years ago, we had a family that moved here from Syria, refugees, and they needed a place to stay. And I placed one phone call to Mr. Steinberg. I said, could you subsidize their rent for a year? He said, yes.
Wow.
End of story. Very generous guy.
This hour of Brennan Among Sports is sponsored by
Ultra Versari and Royer of Ophthalmology Associates.
on KMOX.
And we welcome in for the last time on the Charlie Brennan Show, Major Garrett, the Chief Washington correspondent with CBS News, the host and creator of the Takeout podcast, Led Zeppelin superfan. Major, we're so glad you could join us this morning as we celebrate Charlie Brennan.
Hey, Major. Wow, that is so nice of you, Major. Thanks a lot. And I consider you a friend. And I will say one of my favorite moments broadcasting the last 34 years is we had a great night at an auditorium that kind of looked like Hogwarts at Webster University. And it was packed because people were there to hear you, Major Garrett. And I mean, No. Let me see. We had We had the general manager, Alicia Elsner of Channel 5. We had Betsy Bruce, one of the greatest reporters in the history of town. We had Jerry Carmody, one of the top attorneys. I later found out there were CEOs from corporations that I probably shouldn't even mention who were there in the audience. But the funny thing was, it was a great evening, great questions from the audience. A lot of people had read the book. Everybody bought the book. Beth and I, on the way home, we stopped at a pub called Cousin Hugo's, which I think is now closed. I think it's on Hanley Road, right? And I'm honest to God, this is a true story. We are seated there at the table enjoying a burger and a beer. And there's a table next to us, it's small confines, so everyone's sitting next to each other. And one young guy's like 30 years old. He says to the other, you know what? Major Garrett's in town tonight. And the other guy goes, oh, really? And I had to jump in. I said, we were just there. It was amazing. True story. Ask Beth. Hands on the Bible. Isn't that something?
Did you say it like that? Hey, everybody.
Like that. Mr. Bill.
Oh, no.
No. It's something from coast to coast. And you're so even-handed. That's why we appreciate your work here on KMOX. You call it like it is.
And
one other thing I gotta say, so I saw that Amy tweeted today's your last day, and I retweeted that, but I also was on her feed, and I didn't realize, Amy,
yes.
she ran a sub 3 hours.
It's true. It's true.
It was a really fun day. I was grateful to have my coach, and he ran it with me. So we're gonna head over to Grandma's Marathon in Duluth and try to better that time. So it's
Oh,
The fastest marathon I ever ran was 4:35, and that was all I could do to run at 4:35.
tell me about it. I can't drive 26 miles in 3 hours. Not in this traffic.
It's just amazing. Congratulations. That is an unbelievable,
Well,
thank you
wait.
so
There's more,
much.
Major. Do you know that on her birthday, she runs a mile for every year she's alive? And we're up close to,
we're getting up
what was
there.
the last
Yeah.
one? 37.
It'll be 39 in July.
Yeah.
39.
Backstoppers.
I mean, we're not kidding around.
Oh,
here.
yeah. And then there was, the backstoppers, and Major Garrett was so supportive, and he contributed to the backstoppers run. And I was so grateful for that. That was a 6-hour run, and it was a blast. Major, what I say is, some people have, a thriving social life and friends, and other people run. And I happen to fall into the latter category. You have a lot of time if you just don't, know anybody.
So,
All by
oh,
myself.
Eric Carmen. That's one song Led Zeppelin didn't sing. Yeah.
That's really amazing. And look, you can do your socializing as you wait.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you have your little group of running buddies. Thank you so much, Major. That means a lot to me.
Hey, who's who?
Thank you.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Tell us who's on the Takeout this week, the podcast that we can get at all of our favorite podcast sources, and of course on KMOX Radio if the Cardinals aren't playing.
So, a lot of things happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I wasn't there. I was back at my beloved alma mater, the University of Missouri, receiving pretty
Mike Bush is on.
Professional Excellence Award. I was very happy to do that.
Congratulations.
What happened at the Correspondents' Dinner was Deborah Tice was there. Deborah is the mother of Austin Tice, who's been held in captivity in Syria since August of 2012. Stephen Ford, my beloved
camera working?
friend, the Correspondents'
Port?
Association,
Go to a different port, different connection.
at the Correspondents' Dinner moments later, President Biden, delivering his remarks, went off script and said, Deborah, I want to meet you and talk about Austin. So Deborah and her husband Mark then, on the following Monday, met President Biden at the White House. So our conversation this week on the Takeout is Mark and Deborah on their conversation with the president, what they believe is a newly renewed effort by this administration to get their son Austin back home. And we talk a lot about Austin, their memories of him, why they are certain he's still alive, what they want the administration to do in terms of direct interaction with the Syrian government, and on all those other Americans also held in captivity, but because it's their son, oldest of 7, homeschooled, was eligible to enroll at Georgetown at age 15. He didn't get in until he was 18. Georgetown wouldn't take him that early, but he was eligible at age 15. Lo Marine who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Again, held in captivity in Syria since August of 2012. Long conversation with Barrington.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Thank you
Looking
so
forward
much,
to that,
Major.
as always. Major Garrett, Chief Washington Correspondent, CBS News, with us on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Mike Bush.
And it's a morning filled with legends, Charlie, and we're welcoming in Mike Bush, the legendary reporter, anchor for KSDK TV here in St. Louis. Mike, you're celebrating Charlie with us. We're so glad you could. He's talked about it multiple times. I think Tom Brady's name's come up maybe 20 to 25 times.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to Sunday night at 10 o'clock because Mike and his team have put together a little profile, and they have worked very hard on it. As I said, never has so much effort gone into so little a cause. But we sure appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ask him to walk close to a window if he's near one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, you're breaking up just a little bit. What we're going to do is try and reestablish this connection so our listeners can hear every bon mot. So,
Excuse me?
so why don't we call him back again, or if maybe you need to walk near a window, one or the other. I'm not sure which.
See if he's still there.
Are you? Oh, those squirrels get into the system or something.
I think it's the humidity. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, let's reestablish the No, it's still just a little bit off. So speaking of audiology, let's talk about Dr. Colleen Bosler. She has a fantastic hearing screening opportunity on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of May at her Creve Coeur office. This is on Olive. And among other things, there's going to be a representative of Starkey. Starkey is the top hearing aid in the country, if not the world. It's the hearing aid that has been worn by Presidents Bill Clinton, George Herbert Walker Bush, Ronald Reagan. So you assume they have access to great hearing aids, right? They've all chosen Starkey. Mother Teresa wore a Starkey hearing aid. That's a fact. And this representative will be there to answer all your questions and tell you the latest about hearing aids. Hearing aids today, they are not your father's hearing aid. There are a lot of bells and whistles. For example, if you fall, your friends or the authorities can be notified. You can stream the television onto your hearing aid right now, and they're a lot more comfortable. The audio is much better. But at this 3-day seminar, you're going to be able to meet, and you can only go for an hour or however long you want to. You meet Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Gilbert Fond. There will be refreshments, free earwax removal, free screenings, free cleaning checks, and more. Plus, here's the big thing, a $500 coupon toward the purchase of a new hearing aid. For more information, go to audiologycenterstl.com.
All right, let's see if we have Mike Bush on a slightly cleaner line. Mike, are you there? Oh, yes,
yeah.
a lot
yeah.
better.
Well, it's kind of you to say. We'll see what happens. I still want to stay active in the community, and maybe I'll get a couple chances at KSDK to talk about the next litter cleanup or something. I don't know. We'll have to have our people call your people. But let's work together on a project sometime. How does that sound?
Anytime, Charlie, anytime. You've been our companion every morning for these years, and that's going to leave a big hole for all of us. But we're so glad. I mean, we know how much you love St. Louis. We're so glad you're going to still be on Donnybrook, and we know we will see you a lot around.
You are too kind. This is Mike Bush, one of the all-time greats. I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore of broadcasting in town, am I right? He would be on it. Front and
Yes,
center.
we have the television Mount Rushmore and the radio Mount Rushmore, and both of you are on those respective mountains.
There's also one in South Dakota, I hear.
Here there is.
Mike Bush with us from 5 on Your Side. Thanks a lot for contributing, for being with us today. And again, that's 10 o'clock on Sunday night, everybody.
It's 9:30. I'm Tom Ackerman. Russian President Vladimir Putin said today that Western sanctions imposed on his country will provoke a global crisis. Translated, he said, moreover, these sanctions largely provoke the global crisis. Their authors, guided by short-sighted, inflated political ambitions by Russophobia, are more likely to harm their own national interests, their own economies, and the well-being of their citizens. We have major traffic issues in St. Louis right now. 64 eastbound past Hanley, the 3 right lanes are closed due to a crash. That is causing a backup on 64 eastbound well past McKnight into Clayton right now. Also, 70 westbound is closed past 64. That is causing issues. Westbound 64 approaching 70. And obviously 70 westbound closed and creating a backup in that location. Again, westbound 70 closed past 64, and we have the center lanes now closed, 64 eastbound past Hanley Road, creating a backup in that location. Very hot today, near or past 100 this afternoon, a high of 94. It's going to feel like we're near or past 100, low 69 tonight, high of 86. Charlie, before I go, and I'm going to head over to the ballpark, thank you for everything. I know this isn't goodbye because we're going to be able to still work together, but man, I'll tell you what, 25 years of knowing you, it has been some run on and off the air. In particular, it's the off the air stuff that I chuckle about the most because you and I have had some really, really good times together.
Oh, man, I'm going to miss you, Tom, especially our Martin Luther King Day broadcast at the winter warm-up when you and I would hold court and talk to the who's who in St. Louis baseball. And among other occasions. Thanks for all you've done. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you very much, and good luck in your retirement. Let's stay in touch. It's 9:32.
Can't log in because there's no Chrome. Let's call it a day.
Well, you got internet issues over there? I think they did that on purpose on your last day.
Which one do you use? Do you usually log into yours, Tom? Whenever you're on this computer, or is it on something?
I don't do internet typically on that computer. I'll do it on that one. Sometimes on this one.
Introducing earlets, a new approach to the treatment of hair.
Firefox should open.
Oh,
Dan the man.
Yeah, you can try Firefox.
How are you?
Gives you 2.5 times the audible bandwidth of
Good. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be with you in 90 seconds or so.
Even in noisy listening situations. To learn
2 to 3 hours probably. 5 minutes or so.
lens.com.
All right.
And register for a free
Just disparage Charlie as much as we can.
That's not my email address.
We can go over.
Why did I ask you for the email
Go
address?
along if you do that.
Oh, I hate when it does that.
This is for the authentication.
Okay, hang on.
Thorough exams, a whole wellness plan tailored just for me.
At Oak Street Health, we specialize in personalized care for older adults. Our dedicated care teams provide the personalized care you need to stay healthy and live life more fully.
Age just a state of mind.
You don't like it, huh? Dan.
Yep.
Get the care you deserve. Visit oakstreethealth.com.
Soaring inflation, rising interest rates, stock market volatility, and higher taxes. How will these unprecedented challenges impact you and your retirement? Find out in a one-night adult education class, Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor for financial and tax organizations, one of the largest advisory firms in St.
You had
Louis.
an email there with
In
the
just
link,
3 hours, you'll learn how to overcome the unprecedented challenge.
Which one are we going
The
to?
next wave of retirees. The
Sure.
strategies discussed.
Where are you?
$300,000
Oh, right here.
And if you call today, your tuition fees waived. To register, call 8817. Learn from a fiduciary advisor with decades of financial planning.
Studio.
Register now by calling 314-626-8817.
Okay, what do we do? Allow Mike access?
8817. 314-626-8817.
Here.
Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
This afternoon, it's the Cards and Orioles. Cameron pregame show 11:20. First pitch 12:15 on KMOX and streaming on KMOX.com.
I have make lots of money, keep talking funny.
And now we welcome in the television voice of your St. Louis Cardinals on Bally Sports
wow.
Midwest, and that is Danny Mac, Dan McLaughlin.
Unbelievable. Good morning, Dan. Oh my goodness.
It's about time we got you on the program. Here's the
Charlie,
deal.
I am so happy to hear that. Not for listeners, not for myself, that you're moving on and retiring. But what a hell of a run you have had, and congratulations to you and your family and all the success that you've had at KMOX and helping out young people like myself and encouraging people like myself too. So I'm just so happy for you, Charlie.
Here's the deal with Dan. Everybody knows him today as the broadcasting superstar and the most popular guy out there, the voice of the television broadcast for your St. Louis Cardinals. And there was a time when he was young. I think he started when he was like 17, and he screamed balls on the other side of the pane of glass. And unfortunately for Dan and for me, some of our shows were up against the first year of St. Louis Rams football. So we'd be there on Sunday afternoons. We could have hidden from the police doing that show.
Charlie, I got to tell you, hosting and doing that on a Sunday is very tough, but somehow Vince Chamel did it. Well, Vince Chamel did it. Mr. Trivia figured it out. The Garden Show was just a hell of a listen on Sundays, and Ask the Mechanic, and then there was you. So I'm not sure you're in that esteemed group.
No.
You're not at the door.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Doing radio, actually, it's funny because in my notes, the first day here, I kept a journal, and the first guest was Chris Matthews. And I can go back to the journal right now because it happens to be in front of me. And let's see where it is here. Oh, yeah. I didn't get in many phone calls with Chris Matthews. It was my first night out, right? And so I said, don't forget, you were up against Olympic track and field, including East St. Louis's Jackie Joyner, who was on the television. So I was making excuses for myself. No one listened to the radio because they're all watching Jackie Joyner cursing. But
how did you make it through those Sundays? Because the pressure wasn't on me. I just had to get the spots in, but I did see you sweating a little bit.
It's tough when you are on KMOX on a Sunday afternoon and everyone is following the St. Louis Rams. You do your best. But there was a great jazz guitarist by the name of Bucky Pizzarelli who played with Benny Goodman and the Tonight Show Orchestra. His son John is legendary as well. And they used to perform together in clubs in New York. And John told me once, I think he wrote about this in his book, that he and his dad were once at a club during a snowstorm in New York, and 3 people showed up. And Bucky said, we are going to give the best show we've ever given, and we're not going to hold back at all. We're not going to cut it short. And that's what they did. And so that's what you have to try and do. When you're up against Rams football, you put in your best, you hope for the best.
I was taught that at a young age when I was really, really bad. Like I'm kind of bad now, but I was really bad back then. And I'm trying to do some play-by-play on like high school basketball or something like that. And it's the advice exactly what my professor at that time said. He said, you've got mom and dad out there that are probably listening. These kids, their mom and dad or their aunt and uncle or their brother and sister. So somebody is listening. You don't know who it is, but somebody is. And so you better give them your best. And that was great advice then. And it's great advice for what you're talking about now.
You bet. And there's an old broadcasting saying, nobody's listening until you make a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Then you find out. Hey, Dan.
And then they had Twitter, and then you find out who's listening.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to tell you everything that you do wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Those are just the most volatile listeners, though, I like to believe.
That's true, Amy. Good point.
Hey, you've got to get going because the Cardinals are taking on the Orioles today at 12:15. And will this be a broadcast? Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you going to do in retirement, Charlie? I am curious.
Well, definitely travel. I know that's the trite answer. Try and stay involved in the community, learn new things, and take it from there. We'll see. I'm still going to continue Donnybrook Thursday nights. Maybe we'll get you on it one weekend if your schedule permits.
I would love that. Are you going to stay? So you are going to stay in St. Louis?
Oh yeah. You couldn't pull me out of this town. Where would I go? Who would accept
Well,
me?
it was either here or the Maldives. He wasn't sure, but
Yeah, right.
the zoo is free, and so we decided to stay. Dan, before we let you go, do you have any memories of, or like a memory that stands out to you from working early on in your career with Charlie?
I do. On those Sundays, I remember that. I don't know if you remember this, Charlie, but so I'm a snot-nosed punk, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm working the 12-hour shifts, and you're in the middle of probably me starting at like 6 a.m. and finishing at 6 at night. And you had, I can't remember the guest who it was, but you said, "Hey, here's Dan. Dan, go get her a coffee right now." And I said to you, Charlie, I said, "Charlie, I've been a waiter before, and now I'm a producer." And you said, "Yeah, I get that. That's great, Dan, but go get her coffee." And I said, "Okay, sorry, Charlie, I'm going to get a coffee." So that was one of my favorite. That was like one of the first times I ever worked with you. But
I do not remember that. Oh wow!
But no, it was funny, and you did it in a very gracious way, and I should have just said yes, sir. And and the other thing I think about with Charlie is, as I've moved on in my career, Charlie will send me an email or leave me a voicemail, and maybe not in my ups and downs in my life, and whether or not we have spoken or seen each other in 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 minutes, 6 years. Charlie always leaves me a voicemail or sends me a nice note, and I've never ever forgotten that, and I'm eternally grateful for you, Charlie, for how you treated me as a young kid, and then now doing it. I'm almost 50 years old, and you're right. I started when I was like 18 years old at KMOX, so